Remember, the pilots and certainly Emma and Kirsten can see you, so lots of big waves. They will be waving to you. Make sure you give them a wave back. And there we go. As you can see, our first full loop for you in Southport. There's two Stearman aircraft coming back down to display fully for you. The Allied pilots flying here, fighters and bombers all over. And in total, about 10,000 Stearmans were built by the end of the war in 1945. Nice big waves to Dave, Mike, Kirsten and Emma as they come towards you. Crowd central here in Southport. That's it, nice big wave. As we were saying, the design of this aircraft comes as no surprise. It's harking back to the days of Biggles, piloting against the Red Baron over the Western Front in 1918, and made of wood and covered in fabric. And originally this would have been doped or varnished to tighten it, but the Stearmans flying for you today are covered in Cessonite, a man-made fibre that is heat shrinkable and is tightened up using a tool similar to a domestic iron, rather like ironing your shirt for a day of work. Here we go, nice photo opportunity as we do a nice split crowd central. As you can see, the fixed undercarriage, which makes it very different from some of the aircraft displaying here today. But that fixed undercarriage gives it incredible strength, meaning it can take plenty of punishment, as we said, landing sometimes. Very similar design to the Hammer kind of one, although that is slightly smaller and less powerful. And of course, when the war ended, thousands of these aircraft rolled into the civilian north by northwest, and that's where the phrase barnstorming really comes from. So, here we have Dave coming across. Dave Powell has flown for over 4,500 hours, displaying almost to 1,000 displays, all very close, displays across the UK. Studied at Anglia Ruskin University in Cambridge, a member of the team. He also heads up the engineering team when he's not flying. Here we come, again, a very close pass for Dave and Mike here. David has flown at air shows all over the world, as far afield as China, Australia, India, the Philippines, Kuwait, Bahrain, and in the UAE. And on his wingtips,
and Kirsten's favourite part of the routine is when the wing walkers climb around the aircraft. So you have to go on the cliff and then get back into the seats. She loves the exhilaration, freedom of the arabesque. So when they're upside down, just before, it's incredible to watch. Her most memorable time doing this was doing the loop.
The wings, all that drag needs a really powerful engine, so they have the extra power for those manoeuvres, creating that change in altitude, diving, pulling, all that energy forces the engine right at the front. For the extra roll that's needed with the speed of the aircraft to maintain these tight displays, they've also got an extra pair of ailerons in the world of aero superbatics to visit and display in China. That was with another of their pilots, Vic. And on Mike's wingtips we have Emma. Simon, what can you tell us about Emma?
Well, Emma's got the best. She's been doing this since 2021, and her first line of her biog is marathon running, shark cage diving, kite surfing, skydiving, and now wing walking. Emma is an adrenaline junkie and loves to try anything extreme. So that's
it certainly does. So boys and girls, as they come past now, Emma and Kirsten, you can see they're waving to you. They can see you. Big smiles and waves back to Emma and Kirsten and the super aerobatic team displaying for you in Southport. And that really makes their afternoon to see you enjoying the display. Those super powerful engines training what would have been just a rather sedate training aircraft into a let's call it a circus performer, really, I suppose, isn't it? Barnstorming displays for you there.
Am I right, Andy, that those displays came out of the glut of those aircraft after the war?
Absolutely. He was described as being conservative, practical, but an aircraft designer extraordinaire, and that is something I'd like on my CV. He formed the company in 1927, as we say. He really gained a massive following, over 10,000 of the built. The Arabesque, there we go. And spare a thought for Kirsten and Emma, because I have seen
every summer, particularly for the airshow season, with the all and off season, it's very rare. It's an active call being launched about this historical squadron, non-profit, dedicated to keeping them in the sky, and just doing his very best. Literally a genuine enthusiast. He set up the amphibian back in 2008. They're based at Riga Air Base, just south of Oslo. And this particular aircraft was acquired in 2005. And also describe the work that they did and promote the appropriate heritage. Now, what's particular about this one is that he's also very good at the 100th anniversary of the Royal Air Force back in 2018. He decorated this Vampire FD5 in the market for the appropriate department. The other interesting thing is that you may not be aware of it, but this aircraft also features in a film that was made last year, a 2023 British drama, a short film written and directed by Ian Softly, but also starring Ben Radcliffe and John Travolta. It's called The Stepper. And it's after the book that Michael Anthony is the producer of that particular film. I haven't seen it myself, but it sounds pretty interesting. At the Hammond Dolphin, named just 1,200 miles. It was, of course, the early fighters which is presenting the Storm. Design of aircraft was to use an awful lot of wood, just as the Mosquito was. The entire front end of the machine is actually bent wood. That's quite a dying art now. There are very, very few people producing that. But the aircraft did have a punch. It was able to carry 4 20mm Stearman Mark 5 cannons or 82 and 60-pound rockets. To put 500-pound bombs on it or called sportively flown out is led by Tim Casey today. A very experienced Royal Norwegian Air Force fighter pilot. Served many years with 338 Tiger Squadron, but also went through his flight operations throughout Europe, Afghanistan and Libya, and was one of Norway's very first F-35 pilots. Most fighter candidate 33 is one of the one of the most experienced F-35 pilots that Norway has, and a lovely guy to boot as well. To be filmed just months after its founding, literally 100 years ago in 1924. These are the guys that It was the heyday very much of the development of aviation, the late 40s and 50s. Literally hundreds being built, but sadly, of course, we were still learning about how to operate them, how to fly them, and also how to maintain them. Early technology. One of the differences comparing this with the likes of the Typhoon is that because it hasn't got the design, it hasn't got the power, and it all. All the way from 94. Just coming back now, just this and another pass to go. And see if they get to happening a Don't put a great deal of stress on the aircraft. They keep them at low G, and of course that extends the life of them as well. Well, I just heard now. Fantastic strike master. Really outstanding aircraft. In many ways commemorating the life and pleasure that Mark Petrie brought us. He very sadly passed away earlier this year. And his tradition of recovering it's a very tough aircraft. It's got an armoured cockpit and sealed, but with that the aircraft was imported by Mark in 2004 from Oman, retaining its immaculate training colour scheme. Was one of the youngest strike masters ever produced. Comes out of a long tradition, of course, of the Provost family, the Recon JP design going back to replace what was then the hunting personal. Becoming an armed export version, which was sold to Ceylon, as it was then, Sri Lanka now, Kuwait and Sudan, armed with two 7.7mm machine guns, and then into Iraq, South Yemen, Sudan and Venezuela. And with the very final armed export version being sold to Sudan, of which this to a certain extent
to 1,300 feet. There we go. Recovers, takes control. High barrel roll there from left to right. Now flying out inverted. That flat turn there through 270 degrees. Right rudder. And then pulling through. And then shoulder rolls. Coming back to crown center. And then those fantastic links, jet engines. Not what you expected to hear from a biplane. Later, the purpose of those two jet engines was to give more thrust than the weight of the aircraft. That enabled them to hover and accelerate upwards from stationary. Displaying why he is the master in this field. Putting therefore what is described as a hammerhead, using an asymmetric thrust. Straight back down again. For aerial entertainment for you. There we go, left snap, torque roll, full thrust. The noise is incredible. So the jet Pitts is based on the Pitts Super S2, designed to enhance the performance and entertain at air shows all over the world. Two jet engines, as we said earlier, the Lynx turbojet designed and built by AMT-NL, along with a single radial compressor axial flow turbine station. was in the RAF. Of course, he trained on the Hawk, which is the jet you'll see thrown later by the Red Arrow. He then joined 9 Squadron flying the Tornadoes, that including 21 missions during Operation Desert Storm in the First Gulf War. He left the difficult for us in the cabin to see what he's actually doing. Yeah, there we go. That flat spin down.